For another midweek refresh, and so we are continuing with our sermon series on the Sermon on the Mount. We are finishing up the second half of chapter 5, and we're going to talk about murder. We're going to talk about adultery. We're going to talk about divorce. We're going to talk about also we're going to talk about an eye for an eye. So listen up, stay tuned, and stay focused. So in the Sermon on the Mount series, Jesus is basically taking the 10 Commandments and he is teaching them in a deeper depth. He's expanding them and teaching them in such a way so we understand it's not just the act of doing something, but it's the heart behind it. It's the motivation behind it, because God looks at the heart. It says in 1 Samuel 16, verse 7. Yep. Chapter 16, verse 7. It says that the Lord looks at the heart, not just at the appearance of things. So let's get right into murder. So first is murder, and it's verses 21 through 26. And it says, Jesus explains in this portion of the chapter that murder is not just in the physical, but it's also from harsh words. It's from slander. It's from malice. They're all a type of silent poison that kills. Think about a time when someone said something hurtful towards you and how that made you feel, how that made you look at them, how something like sort of crept up on the inside. That's sort of what Jesus is talking about. And then next we're going to talk about adultery. Adultery is verses 27 through 30. Sorry, 27 through 30. And it says, here Jesus further explains that the act of adultery is not just the sin. So it's not just the actual sin of committing adultery, the act of it. It's the heart behind it. It says even if you lust with your eyes, that's considered adultery. And he tells us later on in this section that whatever makes you sin, whatever makes you stumble, to cut it off, to get rid of it. It said if it's your eyes that make you stumble, gouge it out. So whatever that area is that is holding you captive, that is keeping you in sin, rid yourself of it. Next, we're talking about divorce. Now, divorce is a sticky subject. I'm gonna be very honest with you. So I want to give you this disclaimer before we even go into it. This topic of divorce is, for one, you have to think of the Bible in its timepiece, in the era in which it was in. So during that time, it was very patriarchal. I think that's how you say it. But it was led by men. It was men focused, men centered. And so the women didn't have no right. They didn't have no right. They didn't have no voice. And what was happening was, because Moses had allowed them to write certificates of divorce, men had begun to just divorce their wives because they weren't young anymore and they found somebody they liked better. They were divorcing their wives because they didn't cook like they wanted them to cook. Like, it was all kind of reasons they were divorcing them. And so Jesus basically comes and tells them that the only reason you should be getting a divorce from your wife is because of sexual immorality. Simply straight front and put. That's the only reason and only acceptable reason to be getting a divorce from your wife. And so next we're gonna talk about oaths. And oaths is like 2 seconds. Simply put, it's a yes or it's a no. He said, don't swear by the Lord, don't swear by nothing, don't swear by the stars, don't swear by the moon, don't swear by nothing. It's just a simple a yes or a no. That's it, that's all. And our last part on here is an eye for an eye. And I'll be honest, I think it's so many of us that learned that growing up. Like, it's an eye for an eye. Like, I'm gonna get my get back, if you know what I'm saying. And that was so common during that time. It was so common because that was how so many cultures taught and they lived. That you could get your revenge for whatever somebody done to you. So if somebody stole something for you, you could cut their hand off. Whatever it may have been that they had done, you had the right for vengeance back towards them. But Jesus came, and he came to tell them to not only not to have vengeance, but to love your enemies. It says to turn the other cheek if they smack you. You know that's hard. You know that's hard. Cause we be ready to scrap over the wrong words, let alone some smacking. Jesus. But nevertheless, he is the Lord. It says you pay people back. Basically, you pay people back for what they had done to you. But Jesus suggests for us to overcome wickedness with love and patience. So instead of us doing back to others what they have done to us. He tells us to treat others like the Lord treats us. Because we have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, we are due death. But our Father in heaven, because of the blood of Jesus, has allowed us to be free of that sin. That sin has been paid, that debt has been paid, because Jesus died and covered us on the cross. But before he even did that, he already was telling us in the word to be kind to others and to treat them like we want to be treated, to turn the other cheek, to give people the opportunity to have a second chance. So yeah, so next week we're going on deeper in. We're going to chapter 6 and talk about those subjects. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I tried to make it sweet, short, to the point. I love y'all so much. I hope y'all have an amazing rest of the week. I will see y'all again on Friday for Freedom Friday. Love y'all.